Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. Quick note, I've got quite a cough today, but I've got to make these videos because I'm going skiing next week and I'm not going to make you videos from the hill. I might make you one, but I'm not going to make you a bunch, so I got to make these videos now. We have a question here from YouTube user Tyler Sezzi, who asked us, "Hello Vince, what happens if the person or business owner who wrongfully fired you because of your disability dies? Is your claim then worthless, and or does the next person in charge try to settle?" Okay. So we'll say this real quick. Generally speaking, you're going to be suing a business in this field, but it is possible to work for an individual directly. It's possible for someone to not have an entity, a corporation of some kind in place for their payroll and all that. So they could be paying you directly as an individual. They could run their business through their individual personhood, their estate. If that individual person who is your employer dies, your claim would then likely be against their estate, right? Whatever that is left to their descendants or the beneficiaries, whoever it is, your claim would go against that estate potentially. And the more common scenario, where you're suing an entity, you know, a corporation of some kind, an LLC, an S corp, whatever it might be, and whoever takes ownership of the shares of that company would likely then be the target or the person who is dealing with your lawsuit, right? Your claim is against the entity. 9 times out of 10 in employment law, you might even say 99 times out of 100, your claim is against the entity, not an individual. And if you are suing individuals, it's probably for tactical reasons, not because that's your main claim, okay? So if you're suing an entity and the owner of the entity dies, we have a couple questions. How much of that entity did that owner, that principal, own? If the owner owns 70%, but now there's an estate that holds that 70%, might go to some beneficiary, the folks who own the other 30% are probably going to be in charge of the company for at least some period of time during that gap, right? So you and your attorneys are going to have to keep an eye on who's the decision maker right now. You might also experience a gap of time where the entity might not be able to settle with you because there's questions as to corporate governance, right? Weird things happen where, like, a company, the principal who owns most of the shares will pass, and there's a fight over that principal's estate. And, like, just hypothetically, his 5 kids are fighting about who owns the company, and you got some minority shareholders over here who own some percentage of the company, and everybody's duking it out. Maybe no one is sure who has the authority to settle with you. That can be a real hassle. That happens. Sometimes you end up just kind of attending court proceedings, getting to watch and see who's going to be your target. Your target's the entity. It's got assets. It's got a bunch of stuff. That's what you're going after. But whoever ends up owning at least enough of that company to make decisions for that company will be the party who's probably going to be cutting deals for you in terms of settlement or whatever it might be. So generally speaking, your case goes on, even if the bad actor that you originally came after has passed away. Now, listen, there's always the tragic event where an employer passes away, there's no assets, and there's no one to take over the business. What is the value of your claim at that point? Can't draw water from a stone, unfortunately. There's a possibility. There's nothing there to make you whole. That is an unfortunate occurrence. It happens on rare occasions. Something to keep an eye out for, right? If you think that your employer might pass away and there might be no assets left in the company, it might be an impetus, a motivation for you to cut a deal sooner rather than later. So do keep that in mind. This has been a very general discussion, Tyler Sezzi, about what can happen if the bad actor passes away. If you have more specific questions, if I failed to answer your question, do comment down below. I will track the comments down below. I will make you follow-up content. But on the other hand, if this video was helpful, like, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps me to help more people just like you. And remember, almost everyone works, but not everybody wins. So be smart out there.